So this is a quick little video on finding trig values of angles whose terminal side lie on one of the axes. So the problem with when the terminal side of angle falls on an axis, we don't have any triangles to draw. So the triangle doesn't help us anymore. But we notice a pattern that for example, in the 30-60-90 triangle, this side was the y sine value and this side was the cosine value. So another way to look at that is the coordinates. So in this case, the x coordinate of that point is rad 3/2, and the y coordinate of that point is 1/2. And so you notice in a unit circle, the x coordinate is always the cosine value and the y coordinate is always the sine value. So if we're looking for cosine 90 degrees, even though we can't draw a triangle here, we can figure out the coordinates, because this is a unit circle, which means that distance from up there is 1, which means I've gone 0 to the right or left, and I've gone up 1. So this is the coordinate 0, 1. So cosine, we said, is associated with the x value, so that means cosine 90 degrees would be 0. If I was looking for sine of 90 degrees, of course that would be the other coordinate, that would be the y coordinate, so that would be 1. We look at a couple more values, like for example, let's see, sine of 5 pi over 2. Well, in the unit circle, we know that each one of these turns from one axis to the other is pi over 2. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, I've come full circle, so I would go one more time. So 5 pi over 2 actually ends up in the same place I was just talking about, doesn't it? So I'm still looking for the y coordinate of that point, so that would be 1 again. Or if I'm looking for the tangent of, let's say, pi. Okay, if I draw my unit circle, pi of course is right here, and since we're going to the left one and neither up nor down, we know the coordinates of that point are -1, 0. And since tangent is sine over cosine, we know that this is going to be 0 over -1, which is of course equal to 0. Notice if we would have done tangent of pi over 2, or 90 degrees, that would be right here. We know the coordinate is 0, 1. So since sine is on top, that'd be 1 over 0. And of course that's a problem, we can't divide by 0. So at pi over 2, tangent's going to be undefined. So that's a quick lesson on how to find trig values when the terminal side of the angle lies on the axis.